I'm Brian Fister.
No.
Keep going.
This speech is about Charles Schulz and the Peanuts comic strip. On Sunday, when the comics come out, people get pretty excited for Snoopy and Charlie Brown, and they're the main characters in the Peanuts comic strip. It began in 1947, and it's written by Charles Schulz, and that was his lifelong dream, and he developed it and took care of it pretty much. So we're going to take a look into the life of Charles Schulz. He was born November 22nd, 1922 in St. Paul, Minnesota, and at an early age he took exception into drawing, and a teacher told him that he's going to be an artist one day. So his goal was to have a daily comic strip. And during the Great Depression, his parents enrolled him into art institution school. He struggled at first, but he finished the course, and then he was drafted into World War II. And after World War II, he returned and had several jobs that allowed him to, practice his skills. He had like tombstone. He did the engravings on tombstones, so that helped his lettering and stuff. And then he took a job at his school, at the art institution school. And many people encouraged him, and he met one of his close friends, and his friend's name was Charlie Brown. He developed his work while at the art institution school, and he showed samples to several newspapers, and it eventually landed him a weekly comic strip and he called it Little Folks, and it appeared in the St. Paul Pioneer Press, and it was about Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and a girl named Shermie. And after that, he marketed it to the world, looking for editors to see if he could get it out everywhere. And eventually, one editor named Jim Freeman at United Feature Syndicate in 1950 gave him the call. But before they could do anything with the comic, they had to change the name because there was already a comic called Little Folks out there and Little Abner. So they didn't want any legal issues, so they called it Peanuts. And Schulz was very upset with this. He thought it was insignificant for the comic because, Peanuts isn't one, you wouldn't think of anything real significant out of that. But it had great success, and it's well known for its social commentary and its lovable characters. You only had Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Shermie at the beginning, and many characters were introduced later, including Linus, Lucy, Woodstock, Peppermint Patty. The comic was basically anything in Charles Schulz's life, people he knew or him himself were influenced into the comic, because Charlie Brown is shy and withdrawn, and Schulz was very shy and withdrawn, and some of the characters are named after his friends, like Charlie Brown, and Peppermint Patty was named after one of his friends. And Linus reflects the spiritual side of Charles Schulz. The comic took to books, television, and movies, and appeared in over 2,600 newspapers around the world. And then in 1999, Schulz was diagnosed with colon cancer, and in December of 1999, he retired the comic, saying due to loss of sight and just struggle with chemotherapy. He later died in February of 2000, and the last strip appeared the day after he died. It still has recurring strips and papers today, but no new ones. Peanuts ran for almost 50 years, and it's one of the most beloved comics of all time. Schulz put a lot of effort into it, and it definitely can affect our lives. Charlie Brown and Snoopy, they can teach us good life lessons. That's it.
I don't know how to turn it off.